Rider 47 crossing the line, setting down a solid time early on here.
'77, '76, '75, please come into the ready area. We're looking for our next riders. '77, '76, and '75 to the ready area. Your first couple times did come in. Let's check it out. We got Rita Fadiwa, our first rider, with a very fast time, 12.154 to open us up today. At 12.154 the official time. Wimbush coming in at 15.759. Rider 64 to the bike check area, 64 to bike check. More sprinters to the start area. Again, we're looking for our riders to come up to the start area. Right now is Tomko on the track. That's number 76. We're looking for 75, 84, and 38 to the start area. Gabby St. Clair, number 77, coming in, our Texan competitor, the Greater Houston Cycling Foundation. Gabby's time is 13.579. The previous finisher there was Olive Martinez Chu with a time of 15.620. We're looking for riders in the start area once again. Number 84, number 38, number 79. Junior women, please, to the ready area for your event. Riders to the ready area.
Rue Tomko hearing the bell, up and out of the saddle, out of turn 2 into the backstretch, picking up speed here. Rue, one of our local riders known for fast finishes, should be setting a fast time here, Corey.
Looking out for a 12.154 was the fastest time yet set. Let's see if Rue can get into that under 13-second mark that'll guarantee at this rate a potential bye in that first round. 5 riders get to sit out.
Boy, that'd be nice. Put in one solid effort early on and get to chill.
Vargas, last call to the start area, or DNS. Vargas, final call to the start area. Number 84. Also looking for Bella Mejia, 38. Hannah Ford, 79, to the ready area. The time came in for Tomko, 13.422. Another quick time here. Currently our second fastest of the group. This is now rider 84, Sarah Vargas. Rancho Palos Verdes, California competitor coming out here to set a time. On deck, Bella Mejia, followed by Hannah Ford, and then Lucy Gilchrist. Final rider in this group, Danny Scoville, before we jump into our next contest. Riders, be ready. Junior men in the sprint qualifiers will be coming up next. Sarah getting the bell right now. Last call for riders to the ready area. Again, we're looking for our next couple starters. Right now it's Hannah Ford, number 79. Followed by Gilchrist, number 33. Scoville, number 31. This is Vargas, Sarah Vargas, California rider here. Trying to heat up the competition.
Male sprinters need to be through bike check. Male sprinters need to be through bike check and sitting here. You're up very soon.
Second fastest time coming in for Vargas, just over 13 seconds. It's a 13.065.
Unofficial, but that should guarantee a bye in the next round.
Number 38 is Belle Mejia in the Jerry Baker Jr. kit. Speaking of another local rider here. All male sprint riders, you need to be through that bike check. Junior men in the bike check for your sprint qualifiers. All male competitors that are going to be racing in the 200 meter today must be through bike check. This is Bella finishing up on her time. Riders getting to the ready area. Let's be more urgent with that today, this morning. We need riders to be ready to start to keep us on time today. Thank you. This is Maya Brothers, number 75. Star Track Racing. Just got the bell. Our East Coast team out of New York. And now 79 takes the track. That's Hannah Ford, another one of our California area competitors on their first lap. But let's go in here and watch Star Track. The recent finish from Mejia looks like it's 5th overall to 14.926. To be into that bye, we're looking for around a 13-second time. A new second fastest time, a quick one from Maya. It's a 12.616. Your first rider today still setting a very high bar of a 12.154. Got some speedy young women here today that are going to be throwing down in this competition, and there's another one at the 12.616 for Maya. Junior men to the ready area. First couple riders in your group. We're looking for Sam Frunholtz and Cameron Coleman to be heading to the ready area, numbers 74 and 64. Please bring your equipment and be ready for your start. The El Cerrito Californian competitor, CA. This is Nationals.
It is.
Coming here to compete and throw down. 79 coming to get their time. 13.754. Barely out of the bye round with that time. So the bubble's right about 13.5 seconds right now. On the track, we've got Lucy Gilchrist, another Jerry Baker Jr. rider, and her teammate right behind her. Then we're going to get into the junior men for their qualifiers. Looking for 74, Frunholtz, 64, Coleman, number 11, Takagi. Your last of the junior women just on their first lap. Scoville taking the track as we're watching Gilchrist finish on their effort. Junior men are on deck and are heading to the ready area now for their qualifiers. $13.784 for Gilchrist. And another one of our local riders in your final from this group, Danny Scoville. Jerry Baker Jr. is getting the bell. Fast time still set by the first rider here today, number 43, Rita Fidewa with a 12.154. That's going to be a tough time to overcome. Scoville hoping to be in that sub-13, and that would guarantee, of course, a bye in round one. First of the junior men now also coming onto the track to qualify as Samuel Frohnholtz now takes the track for lap one. Scoville on the finish. That'll be second fastest today with a 12.486. 12.486, good for second fastest today. We move quickly into this next event as we've already got junior men on track. Andrew Ford to the ready area. That's bib number 5. Andrew Ford to the ready area. They're followed by J.C. Pyle. Currently on track, Samuel Frohnholtz in lap 2, number 74, about to go into the timing effort here on the back straight. Rider 3, J.C. Pyle to the ready area. .164 is the time. Frohnholtz with 13.164.
Cameron Coleman on track now out of Detroit. Seems to have gotten the first lap down. It is quite common to go quite slow on the first lap. They are hearing the bell now.
Yeah, longer track, longer qualifying event, so you can take a little slower on the opening bit.
Really like that kit as a side note.
Does stand out, doesn't it? Riders 1 and Riders 6 to the ready area. Riders 1 and 6 to the ready area. That's Hawk and Bonilla. Hawk and Bonilla to the ready area. Coleman coming in for their timing. .11.492. 11.492. Your new quick time for the junior men so far, and a nice speed there from our Detroit rider. So far, we had riders from Boulder Valley. We've got Hellier area riders, San Jose, Lexus Velodrome there in the last round, hometown competition space. Who we got here on the track now?
We got Gabriel Takagi, local celebrity on the come up, putting down some fast times this year.
Yeah, very fast improving in this event. Looking very good in his last time we saw him compete on this velodrome. Let's see where he slots in.
Looking smooth up the home stretch, and as we all know, smooth is fast.
11.109 for Takagi, knocking on the door of sub 11 for our junior men already. Good competition here so far. You got 3 nice times here today. Takagi will take the fastest time just by about 0.3 of a second over Coleman. Andrew Ford is on track now. We'll see J.C. Pyle, Grayson Hawk, and Louis Bonilla. Bonilla to the ready area, looking for Bonilla, number 6, to the ready area now.
This rider, Andrew Ford, also taking a good line. It is important out here at this track. Accelerating on the backstretch here out of the saddle. Looks like coming down hitting the right spot there on in turn 3. Once again, another smooth rider here. Good lines. I would expect this to be quite quick.
Indeed, another good time. 11.323 will sit second right now in the qualifier. 11.323 for Ford. Next event, women's sprints. In the next
JC
round, head to bike check, please.
JC Pyle getting the bell, 1 to go.
So we're going to heat 6.
Time
That's a
set
good
by
one.
JC Pyle, 10.9.
Ooh, 10.968 is the official time, and sub 11 for Pyle.
Is that a PR, do you think?
I think that's a PR. I think it's a junior record at the track, too.
Holy smokes. Where do we write the check?
I'm sure Amara's got that one.
To his mother. So
Help
this
with the
is a
next
good
upgrade.
time to mention that if anyone breaks a standing junior track record, we are handing out $100 cash. So whoever ends this 200, if someone breaks him with the record, we're handing out cash to juniors. Woo!
Speedy kids here today, my goodness. Several riders already knocking on the door of that sub 11, and JC breaks through it in style.
Well, here with bib number 1, all the way from Allentown, Pennsylvania, is Grayson. Does
Grayson.
number 1 mean number 1 seated?
I actually don't know if that we did the bib system that way or not. Maybe it was just first in line.
Got here last year, just waiting.
That's right. Good time was 11.414 for Grayson Hawk. 11.414. Currently sitting in 4th in the qualifier. Junior women in the sprint round 1 ride, make sure you've head over for bike check. If you are in the bye in this first round, that does not apply to you, obviously, but our riders that are going to be competing in that first ride will be heading that way. Fastest time today does get to sit out 1 ride here today as well. There's 1 rider out of our 7. So fast time does mean a lot here, besides, of course, chasing a record.
Calling St. Clair and Wimbush to the ready area. St. Clair and Wimbush to the ready area, please.
Another very quick time, 11.152 for Bonilla, 11.152, good for a third. And we've got ourselves quite the group here, folks. Your top 3 riders, about 0.2 of a second, not even that much apart from each other, a 0.15 separating your first and third fastest riders today. It's going to be exciting. That was our final rider for the event here. So we will be getting set now for our next on the session schedule. Our 15 through 18 women in their first round ride here for the sprints are getting set to start. '47 and '77. St. Clair and Wimbush to the ready area now. '47 and '77. Wimbush and St. Clair to the ready area.
That's gonna be-
Ford and Martinez also. Gilchrist and Mejia will also be in this round and need to be getting ready to start. Again, St. Clair, Winbush, Ford, Martinez, Chu, and Gilchrist, Mejia. Those matchups need to be set and getting ready to start for the junior women's sprint. We got fans and family here, of course, for this first session. We're expecting a big crowd here, to, especially tomorrow night, but there'll be a nice crowd here with us this evening. But if you're out there on YouTube from afar, thanks for tuning in as well and helping celebrate, support, and cheer on our juniors. If you want to get in the live chat, you do have to hit that subscribe button. That's right. Go down there and help us reach 5,000 by the end of this year. Just look it up. We are the most watched velodrome on YouTube, the most number of videos uploaded, most live events. We're doing some good stuff here.
That's true. That's very true. We got a lot going on for us, but maybe a low bar. But we're gonna set the pace.
That's right. We're trying to get out in front
out
and
there.
then have everybody else catch us. Would be awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna stay out
Yeah,
in front.
absolutely. So if you like the way we're doing things up here, we're trying our best to broadcast racing to everybody and make it accessible, make it easy to watch, make it fun and entertaining. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and thumbs up there. And then once you're in there, you can leave a question. You can leave a shout out for a junior. And if I see something here, we'll even respond to it. So don't be afraid to get active and involved there. Leave some positivity for the kids. Delaying a program means resulting in a fine, it sounds like, potentially here. So we need to get a little bit more on top of our timing here with everybody and still waking up. I know I'm still finishing my caffeine, but I don't know if the kids need that. They just got to get rolling here.
I think that's not recommended by the FDA. I think caffeine in very low amounts.
Yeah, good call. Good call. So we're trying to get a little bit more on top of our schedule here and getting woken up with how we're going to move things along. We should be seeing St. Clair and Winbush, Ford, Martinez, Chu, Gilchrist, and Mejia in this next contest. This is the first round for the sprints for the junior women. One chance to continue on into the tournament. Winner moves on to the quarterfinals. The other rider will be seated by the qualifying time for the final results. Coming up to the line now, number 47 in lane 1 is Maze Winbush from 2024 Devo, a rider from Maryland. St. Clair next to her, number 77, that's Gabby St. Clair out of the Houston greater area. Bryan, Texas competitor, lining up here to see who can advance into the next round. Two great competitors here. We've had St. Clair actually up in the area a lot recently, joining us for Junior Takeover, was here during the week of the GPs, kind of just been around and getting a lot of time on the track, taking on a rider from Maryland from the long-storied women development team, the 2024 Devo racing team.
While the rider from Texas does have roughly a 2-second faster 200 time, faster times in a 200 are not always indicative of the race result. So could be looking for an upset here from the rider from Maryland, but there is a bit of a speed advantage going to the rider from Texas.
Even in execution too, I think our Maryland rider stayed kind of down in the lane a lot, right, all the way around the track, and so maybe that wasn't saying indicative. Also, maybe if she had utilized some of the track differently or was more familiar with her velodrome, time could have been different or better in that case.
Yeah, good call there. Our velodrome is a bit unique. The lines that the riders take for the 200 meter are a bit different here than probably the velodromes back home. We have a larger and less sloped velodrome. Also outdoors could be a factor.
Right now it's the Texan, the rider, as you mentioned, with the faster finishing time in qualifying. She's sitting in second in this lineup with the white jersey. All riders in the Women IO Ride 1, that scratch race that's coming up, you should be through bike check at this stage. This is the last chance for all riders that are going to be in that scratch. The women in the IO must be through bike check.
One to go, one to go, one to go, one to go, one to go.
Our first real match sprint today, right? It's as we got through qualifying now, so we get to see our first attempt of a 2-lap head-to-head matchup here at our velodrome. This is kind of the critical phase. Once you hit the Greg cycle sign, things get interesting.
Yep, here we go.
Up into speed out of turn 2. St. Clair will take the inside line. Good jump, though, from right on the outside, talking about maybe didn't have the fastest qualifier, but look at the top speed on show coming out into the back flat there. And look at this. Wimbush, number 47. By the qualifier, a bit of an upset there, but you saw the nice jump on the back straight. She had a good turn of speed, Wimbush did, and she'll continue to ride here in this tournament on into the quarterfinals. This is now Ford, Martinez. On deck is Gilchrist and Mejia, the scratch race. The first ride for the Omnium for the junior women coming up next. In lane 1, Hannah Ford, number 79, California competitor. Next to number 88, racing for Star Trek Racing out of New York, it's Olive Martinez-Chu. One rider to continue on into the quarterfinal round. One more heat to go. On deck, we're going to see Lucy Gilchrist and Bella Mejia. And we'll get a switch of the lane there, actually, by the draw. So we'll put number 88 on the inside.
Was that tactical?
Right. The tactics have already begun. The mind games.
Mind games by the officials. Off we go. 2 laps. Olive Martinez in the front, hailing from the great state of New York City, baby.
That's right, Star Trek Racing. I think this is done lovingly because, again, when one of us does good, we want to see others do great too. Star Trek for years has had the highest registration by number at junior track nats. And I think for the first time in a while, it's Jerry Baker Jr. It's no surprise. We're at home. We're hosting the event.
Yeah, I'm excited they're here. I think it's a great family from afar out there, Star Trek crew.
Yep.
And stoked to have them. And yeah, all weekend should be good.
Yeah, I mean, the teams obviously build off each other. You know, seeing these big communities of racers around the country, we need each other. So it's cool to see a huge showing from Star Trek here this weekend.
I bet you half the viewership on YouTube right now probably tuning in from Star Trek crew.
That's right. Star Trek on the front still. Your California competitor right behind, getting lined up here. Coming into lap 2, they'll be getting the bell shortly. One rider to continue and advance in this tournament today. Nice and patient here up to the line. Martinez-Chu still controlling the front position right now. Hannah Ford watching the back wheel and just being very patient here. Is nearly a full lap in this exact same position. But now we kind of get in that place where the posturing gets a little bit more serious, a little bit more meaningful as riders move up and down. Neither committing as we cross over the great cycle sign over there in turn 2, one of our great sponsors. Hitting that back straight. Still no jump from either rider. Star Trek shortening this race a lot. No advantage in height right now either as they're sitting on the flat part of the track. 200 meters to go. There's the jump as we hit turn 3 from the front. It's going to be a straight up acceleration race here, trying to get to top speed before we get to the line. Ooh, the jump looking good on the inside, but the outside's going to become a guy in it, and Ford on the outside has enough. I believe it would have been Ford coming in with a faster qualifier. I think Martinez Chu trying to come up with a good strategy there to shorten the race, and I like the move and the way she tried that out. Just good closing speed there from Ford. This is our last heat for the junior women now getting lined up for this current round. We're going to bring up Gilchrist and Mejia. Then it's a scratch race for the riders in the Omnium, the junior women in the Omnium. Riders for the junior men's scratch race Omnium should also be going through bike check here shortly. Again, you should be done with bike check about 10 minutes before your race begins. Junior men in the Omnium, bike checks going on. Coming up now, your final heat. Gilchrist, number 33 on the inside position out in lane 2. Bella Mejia, number 38, both racing for the Jerry Baker Juniors team.
Well, looks like Lucy won the throw.
And you know that, I mean, that's a guarantee right there. That's a win. You got it. Is that like bonus points at the end, like bonus time, or is it like a tie break that they can do? Or
I'm going to have to check in with the officials and get back to you on that, Corey.
Very good. Is Gilchrist with a slightly faster qualifier, checking back to our qualifying times, putting Mejia, the rider currently in second position, a little higher on the track, in a tougher spot for the finish.
Traditionally speaking, the faster rider can play a little bit different of a tactical game. They can sort of sit and wait, especially when the difference is about a second or greater in the 200 time, which I believe Lucy had here. So I would expect Lucy to stay on the front for some time, possibly waiting for Bella to make a jump and then jump herself, and just counting on her, a faster finish to seal the deal.
Sort of preserving energy for later rounds, right? Just kind of do what you need to do. If you know you've got that closing speed, use it effectively and efficiently.
That I didn't actually contemplate the fact that this is there will be more rounds and what how that plays into the tactics. This is not my game, as it were.
Yeah, fair enough. You're an elimination rider. That's what I think you are now. Elimination specialist.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it.
Nice steady lap here for teammates. About to be head-to-head here. Only one will continue on. Again, the rider with the slightly faster competitive time in the qualifier. That's the rider with the black helmet, currently in front. By Nolan's call, we're expecting her to shorten the track as long as she can. Just kind of watching here for Mejia to do something. The jump from Gilchrist starting to happen here. It's not full speed yet. I think she might be waiting for Mejia to try to come up to the wheel and then try to re-accelerate things a bit in turn 3. Mejia is coming at the wheel now. She sees the movement. She's going to try to make it very hard to come around her. Good stand up out of the saddle. Good second acceleration. And that should be enough for Gilchrist to continue on here today. Coming up now, the junior women's scratch race. Ride 1 in the Omnium. Riders starting on the blue band, 39, 46, 47, 35, and 45. Starting on the railing, 32, 40, 34, 41, and 44. We got our holders team ready to help with our mass start here. Your next event coming up, the junior women's scratch race in the Omni. This is Ride 1 for our junior women in the International Omnium. Coming up next.
people see us, they know. I feel so much for you that I don't know what to do. 'Cause someone was before you, and someone let me go. This time I must know for sure. 'Cause someone was before you, and someone let me go. But I just need to be sure. Some say love's not for the bitter ones. Some say love will only bring you down. Some say love can feel much better now, better now. But will you let me down?
If you're on the live stream, you're getting a good look here at our starters getting lined up and ready to go. Again, if you're here at the track and want to help us with our viewership and our subscriber numbers, don't be afraid to look us up on YouTube. YouTube.com/JB Velodrome. You can also tag us throughout the whole weekend on our socials. Go to Instagram in particular at JB Velodrome. You can get any photos or clips you take of the racing here today. Don't forget to add us again at JB Velodrome on Instagram. We'll be happy to reshare and have some fun with all the great photos from this weekend. 10 great competitors lining up here for our junior women in the 17 to 18 International Omnium. This is their first ride. It'll be a scratch race getting set to start shortly.
You know what my favorite thing is hosting so far? I get to see all these sweet bikes that I don't get to normally see. There's like a Cannondale track bike out here. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick.
Nice equipment. There you go. And the sound of the whistle. Off we go. Riders going to be starting here shortly out of the neutral. As long as they stay all together, we'll give them the start. They're going to see 13 to go on the lap cards for our group of 10. About ready to begin. And the sound of the whistle has been given. Riders are now in the race. It's 13 to go here in the scratch. Now this is the beginning of a long series of races. The International Omnium Course, these riders have signed up to race 4 times to be able to find out the winner. Do well in each. You start off with a good amount of points here in that conclusion event and in the 4th ride later on. It's important here in this first scratch, though. You got to get some good points early on. You want to still be competitive. Good opportunity in these first laps to get a feel for the competitors who have showed up today, too. I imagine if you're out there in that group, you're looking around getting a sense for who's here today, what kind of strength you're seeing, what kind of confidence and posture you're getting from the other athletes in the group. Seeing 12 to go. Number 47, that's Maze Wimbush. We saw her in the sprint tournament as well, a rider from 2024 Devo. Those are on the front of the lap for a moment. I think that's going to be Louisa Kelly, San Jose Bike Club, maybe move off the front there.
I think so. They took a stab off the front on lap 1 as well. It does seem like they want to keep everyone together. Maybe it doesn't look like a full-on attack. They could be back in their sprint finish here.
Resetting themselves a little bit here, 10 to go. That was Jillian Helm, number 35, Kelly Benefit Strategies Cycling. Hometown is Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I'm going to say Trexler Town, a T-Town rider. Our group's sitting mid-track here, so a little bit of acceleration, deceleration, kind of getting a feel for each other. One mild attack, as you put it, kind of keeping things moving forward, but not trying to take over the race. And now we're kind of back into reset mode. And here she comes again. San Jose wants to keep this thing moving. Number 44 on the aggression again. Maybe looking for some helpers off the front of the field.
Possibly. They are attacking from the front or the mid of the pack, though, so a bit of a, not how I would be going about it if I wanted to create true separation, but could just be some little jabs to see what sticks.
Riding high here. Again, we've got number 47 at the front. Wimbush leading the action. Oh, and now a dive down into the sprinter's lane. I think that's our rider from Edge Cycling, if I'm not mistaken, from the kit, number 32, but we'll get a good look at her. She comes back around. Another disadvantage of our big track. We're a long ways away from the field when they're over there. You only get about 100 meters to get to know them every time they come around. Riders gathering back up after the nice acceleration there. Still nobody trying to drop too much effort here early in this race. It's a long one today. 7 to go still. Indeed, that rider in red was the rider from Edge Cycling. That's Regan Padishal, another Pennsylvania area rider.
Looks like every time the pace comes out of the field and one or two kind of start rolling off the front, it all does just sort of come back together. I would expect here the next couple laps to see something maybe with a little bit more true separation, but time will tell.
Yeah, it's also just long enough to maybe permit that, but it's not a terribly long race, and this is the first time these competitors are showing up here. They're fresh, they're ready, they're warmed up, they're excited to be here. I don't think they're going to want to see this thing shattered too quickly, so I wouldn't be surprised to see most of those efforts kept together by these strong athletes here today.
But not everyone can be a sprinter, Corey.
Moderate tempo here in the middle of this race. It looks like Edge Racing's got our rider back there at the front, kind of watching the front of the group. Regan Padishal, I believe, again, number 32. Saw some aggression from her a couple laps back. A nice jump up to the front. Seeing 5 now, 5 to go. This is going to come down at this rate to a very fast finish.
Rider 46, Julia, looks like putting a little dig in here.
That's right, Valkyr cycling team. Another Washingtonian coming up from the Vancouver area.
Great city, Vancouver is.
About a half lap of effort for our rider from Vancouver, then de-acceleration from the group again, and we have Padishal again on the front. This rider's been at the front, but when she's there, except for that 1 or 2 big jumps we saw from the group, it's basically just been kind of watching the field, almost kind of just keeping her eyes on how things are moving around her.
I think that's a purposeful tactic, Corey. I believe that they back their sprint here, and I back them as well, seeing that sort of confidence early on. I'd be looking for a result here. Coming into 3 to go.
Again, the request for Otis Engel, number 25, to bike check. Number 25, Otis Engel to bike check. Getting down to the final laps, this is where the field's going to have to start being really wary here of who's going to get the next acceleration in, as that might be the signal that the race is really fully underway. They're coming into 2 to go now.
This late in the race, it would be uncommon for a split to develop outside of the final lap. So I think we will see a bunch sprint here.
There's 32 again, right next door. Another rider in red that's been up at the front quite a bit is Avery Kavner, number 45. Another rider out of the Colorado area, Colorado Springs. And that's been kind of the front of this race. You can still see Kelly there, the rider in blue, who's made some of the earlier attacks kind of near the front, but now a lot of riders starting to reposition themselves, kind of swarming around towards the front. You can see the top and the bottom of the field pushing forward. Padishaw's still in a good position. And there she goes. She sees the lane. She's going to come to the front. It's Kelly again. Our rider from San Jose takes over the front. She's not in the attack, though. We're not one to go. Who's going to take this first jump? There's Padishaw. She's been waiting for that bell. Good speed for the rider in red here today. Let's see if she can hold on for 400 meters. The chase is on. Down the back straight, we got about a bike length to catch. Padishaw showing great strength and endurance here in this effort all the way around the track. Starting to gain some ground. Padishaw should be able to take this first ride in the Omnium and get some good points to start off the competition. Ooh, nice acceleration here. Ooh, look, the finish there for 34, coming up awfully fast.
Yeah, it's going to be Jillian and Kat in the second and third positions there, rounding out the podium here on the first race of the Omnium.
Very nice. If safe, again, we'll have riders exit on the lap they finish. I know it's unusual at our velodrome, it's so big, but if you're able to, again, it's generally safe. Our weekly riders do it every single day, even in a sprint or a keirin, they're able to get off on the back straight on the lap they finish. So as you finish on the same lap, you take the exit into the warm-up circle. Thank you for helping us with that. It'll help keep moving racing along at a good clip here today. Junior men, scratch race in the Omnium, ride one. Just as a response to the final race, or the last race we just saw, and just as a general reminder for safety, juniors, do be very mindful in your finish. Hold your line even as you're crossing over that finish line. Hold your line and be steady and predictable. This is when riders are at their fastest. And of course, this next group is an even larger group. It's going to be very important for our riders to ride predictably and safely here all the way through the finish. This is our junior men, 17, 18-year-olds in the scratch race, their first race of the Omnium. So these riders are all signed up again for the International Omnium. This is ride number one. On the blue band, we've got Enzo Edmonds, Jack Hampson, Merrick Gallagher, Thomas Herrick, James Likes, Oscar Plekel-Mariki, Elijah Thielman. Starting on the railing, we've got Jaden Lee, Aiden Zavala, Fenton Balfus, Nathan Farmer, Jack Dimer, Otis Engel, Matthew Peters. 14 riders today in our 17th 18 Omnium, a great size field for competition today. Looking forward to watching this group go at it. Into the neutral. This is a 19-lap scratch. We'll get them started back here on the home straight as long as they're all together. National competition for the juniors here. Good field representing from all sorts of different velodromes across the country. We'll get 4 races from these great athletes here. First up is the scratch race. Points earned here, of course, will go on your scorecard that you get to apply to that points race at the end of the Omnium later on. Do better in these first 3 races, the better start you'll get for the finish. And that's really where the podiums will take place, is after that 4th ride later on during our program. $19 to go. Off onto their first lap. Number 2 at the front, Merritt Gallagher, Jerry Baker Jr. rider. U23 National Omnium champion. We went down to Elite Nats just a few weeks back. So he's looking to continue. Riders down in turn 3 and 4. Riders down. Racing is stopped. Riders, we've stopped the race. We're going to take a moment here and check in with our riders, make sure everybody's okay. I will be on radio to see who is involved, and I will report when I know more. In the meantime, we'll stay put here. Field, we are neutralized and riding high at the moment. All riders that were in that race, do not exit. You are on the track. You can roll, and you will be, once we're ready and we've cleared things up, we will restart from the rail. Please do not exit. You can use the track to stay in movement if you'd like. Do not exit. It looks like that we are checking in a little bit longer with number 22, Aiden Zavala, and also your number 7, Jack Hampson. Those riders are getting a little bit more checking in as they're down. Most of the other riders have popped back up, and we're taking a look at the equipment and getting reset here. Riders that were in that previous race are still neutralized and just rolling around. We'll restart once things are cleaned up, and any of the riders that are in good condition might be able to jump back out here and get back in the field. We'll restart things at 18 to go. To the rail next lap, riders. I think what I think I heard over the radio call was that our riders are okay. They got looked at and everybody's feeling all right. So anybody who's going to be re-entering will be re-entering the track here. I see Hampson on the bike here coming our way. Still have one bike that's being worked on at this stage, though. Riders coming up to the rail for the start again. Riders coming up to the rail for their restart. All riders to the rail for your restart. Riders coming up to the rail to restart the race. They'll be seeing 18 to go as we get the racing restarted. That's the signal for the neutral to begin. On the home straight, we reset at 18 to go. That's where we'll start back with the racing. And that's all of our 14 back up onto the track. We're thankful that that was pretty slow motion there, collision, as this field's getting used to each other. Good to see all our athletes back up on there. We've got, of course, fantastic teams on the infield, parents and supporters that were able to get bikes checked up real quick and back out there. Racing is beginning. Of course, another shout out and thanks to our medical staff that's on call here. I think Tom's hanging out with us this morning. Thanks for jumping up and helping support our racers today. And racing has restarted. They saw 18 to go, so we'll get right back into the action. Fourteen competitors in this group. At 17 to go, there's number 2, Gallagher, back at the front. Our Jerry Baker Jr. rider, a local competitor. Number 22 riding his back there is Aiden Zavala. He takes over at the front very momentarily. He'll follow the lead of Gallagher up the track, and things will kind of reset a little bit there on the back straight as our field's still getting used to each other. Imagine a few jitters in there after that situation happened.
Yeah, I would say so. I think after a couple laps here of pulling through and some safe riding, they'll have forgotten it, and it'll be back into the action full steam.
Righto. 16 to go. Number 14 takes over the front. Jack Dymar. For Primal Audi Racing out of Denver, his hometown, Eagle, Colorado. So another one of our Boulder Valley Velodrome competitors. Seeing 15 to go. Get some hustle there out of number 25 is Otis Engel. Kelly Benefit Cycling. Another Pennsylvania rider. Bike check, we're looking for bike check for the women for their sprint heats. That's in the quarterfinal round. Women sprinters, bike check. Calling you now, bike check for junior women in the sprints quarterfinal. 4 riders starting to push off the front here. A little bit of separation already starting to happen in this group. One of the riders we're taking a little bit longer look at there, Jack Hampson for Team Epic. That's a Portland area competitor that calls our velodrome home now. Has jumped back up, and he's already trying to make something happen here. A nice separation at 13 to go. We've got what looks to be now 3-2 in the rest of the field. Still plenty of laps here. You can see some of the riders in that field starting to get a little bit more anxious here, not to let this thing pull apart too soon. Single file all the way from the front to the back of this group. At 12 to go. You can see some riders here catching this front group of 3. The first one up there, that red helmet of Gallagher, joining this front edge of this field and starting to kind of pull this thing apart. You can see the effect on the back half of this field as they're trying to hold on to the acceleration in the front half. You want to get good points in this scratch race, you got to be able to keep up some pretty good tempo in the early half.
Grab a tent.
Number 13 here, keeping it quick. The rider in light blue there.
Yes, people, grab a tent and I guess use weights besides stakes. I said use weight.
That was an impressive twist of the wind there. Not usually that happens on our infield, but my goodness. All right, at 9 to go, here's your front of the race. And really the field now, as we've lost some riders off of this speed, this is where the action's going to be in this group of 7. After that, we've got a chase of 2 and 2 here, trying to work their way back up. That's number 19, Fenton Balfus on the wheel of Gallagher, trying to push away from the front here. Balfus actually coming in a week early. He raced our Cat 3s last week and lapped the field and then kept riding through. I mean, the kid's got a crazy good motor, number 19 does.
That was an impressive performance last week. Haven't seen a field lapping out here in quite some time. It is a 400-meter tracks, and so if somebody takes a lap out here, you know it's game on.
Yeah, so definitely someone to watch here in the long International Omnium will be number 19, Balfus. It'll be fun to watch him race here.
Corey, what's the protocol here for lapped riders getting back in with the bunch?
They can do so. Just can't do any work on the front. They're going to be scored down the lap, all that fun stuff, so that's fun to see. But no, not very good for the riders, obviously. But they'll get in. They'll try to stick onto the back of the field, and then they can resume their efforts with the group. Looks like a couple are trying to do that right now between turn 3 and 4. It's 6 to go. That's number 14 on the front is Jack Dymar again for the Primal Audi Racing Team in that black and green colored kit. And speaking of unique hardware, also with the bright green bike to match. Every time we get a little sit up here, it looks like our rider continuing to hit that sprinter's lane and kind of keep the speed going is number 25, Otis Engel, Kelly Benefit Cycling Team, Trexlertown competitor out of Pennsylvania. And yeah, just resetting the speed every time he sees open track at the front. He's going to keep this group really working. It's now down to 6 riders that have made this group. Everybody else is out of the race at this stage, unless these 2 right behind can get back on, but they're down the lap. So even if they get back into this field, they'll add some numbers. But really, it's this front 6 here that are competing for the top of our scratch race in the Omni.
Big attack out of turn 3 here from, that's Otis again. Followed up by, I believe, is a Kelly Benefits rider here.
Yeah, these same 3 have been pretty active at the front. You've got your rider from Colorado in the green. Back at the front again as they're all sit above the blue line and kind of follow his lead.
You know who I haven't seen doing a lot of work, Corey? I'll answer this for you. It's going to be Gallagher, local Jerry Baker Jr. He did have to close quite a gap early on, but I have not seen them put in a dig off the front just yet.
Yeah, looks like he's just kind of marking most of the action. We are getting to the finish. It's only 2 to go. And indeed, this group, all those riders together on the lap and trying to compete for the finish. Our lead group going to be getting the bell next time around, as is our chasers, which are getting up to speed here in turn 1. Some good effort on the front here from our chasing riders. You can see they're not giving up the race. Good competitive spirit here from this back group and looking to try to bridge up before the sprint. We'll come back and look at the lead group here as we've got some movement off the front as the bell's ringing. Woo-hoo-hoo. Who's jumping out in the front here? Number 18. Nathan Farmer down the lap, but he's going to try to jump up in front anyways and give himself as good a finish as he can. Here goes Gallagher, now the blue. That's going to be Elijah Thielman, I believe, the Kelly Benefits rider, trying to take the jump here. Ooh, look at this side-by-side sprint for the scratch. A good one, lining up. The local rider taking in the out-of-towner side-by-side. Whoa! little less than half a bike there to Gallagher, but a great 2-up sprint for the junior men in this scratch race.
That was tight. Close finish by half a wheel. It's going to be Gallagher. Our call unofficial.
Rider 43 to the ready area, please. Rider 43. "43 to the ready area. And we are moving right along in our program here today. Sprints for the junior women. Quarterfinal round. First ride coming up. Some thanks to some of our primary national sponsors: Move Redmond, the Mountain EXP, Team Booger, Lake Sammamish Rowing, Velo Flyer, and Pedal Industries. Thank you for your sponsorship and support specifically for nationals this year. We'll talk more about our great sponsor groups here later on during our evening session. Racing continuing on right now into the first round of the quarterfinal for the junior women's sprint tournament. First heat now coming up for their start. Wimbush, 47 to the ready area. Wimbush, 47 to the ready area. Coming up now, this is number 43, Rita Fedewa of Boulder Valley Velodrome, taking on Lucy Gilchrist, number 33 of the Jerry Baker Juniors, right here from Bellevue, Washington. Wimbush to the ready area. In lane 1 will be number 43. That's Fedewa, lined up against 33 in lane 2. Gilchrist. Coffee truck and lunch truck here ready and serving. So if you want to come across the track when racing is not going on, make a safe crossing and you can put in your order now.
Delicious coffee. They've even got some horchata concoction that I gulped down. I'm in a better mood now, for sure.
So be like Nolan and be in a better mood and get some coffee. Is that what you're saying? Pretty much, yeah. Rita Fedewa, Boulder Valley Velodrome competitor number 43, getting the bye. Coming into this, it's Gilchrist who had to ride in the previous round to qualify. So it'll be a tough one here for the local competitor against our rider out of Fort Collins, Colorado.
I wonder if they still have a fort out there.
I guess you'd have to ask her after the race. They'd probably know.
Somebody chime in on the YouTubes. Let me know. Is the fort cool? They're hearing the bell. 1 to go here. 1 to go. Pace still tepid. but not yet fully engaged.
Both riders taking a lot of height here into turn one. Feedwall will control the turn to the left of Gilchrist as she positions herself perfectly there, posts up between her and the lane.
A common tactic for the faster rider, which with the 200 meter is the case. Lucy, though, with more experience so far this morning, getting a rep in already. We'll see how that plays out here.
And good top speed from Feedwa. As you mentioned, the faster rider will try to take that inside line like that and is able to pull it together nicely here. Feedwa will get the nod to continue into the second ride with advantage. This will be a best of three.
That was a smart ride by Rita. They rode very tactically smart, and when they realized they had a gap, they also sort of, I think, took back the pressure a bit and didn't overextend themselves, saving a bit of a match for the future rounds.
Vargas and Tomko to the ready area. Heat 4, please. Junior women sprints. Heat 4. Vargas, Tomko to the ready area. Coming on track now is Heat 2. Scoville is number 31 and looks to be lining up in lane 1. Hannah 4, number 79. El Cerrito, California, lined up in lane 2. And off we go here, and this is still ride 1 in the quarterfinals for our junior women here in the sprint tournament. Best of 3 format. We just saw our first heat a moment ago. This is Danny Scoville, the rider in the orange with the black and blue kit in front, taking on the Californian number 79, currently sitting in second wheel. Scoville also getting here through the bye, so with an advantage in the qualifier by a pretty good margin here over Ford. We'll see how the Californian can compete here in this tough first ride against Scoville. One to go. Scoville on the front. Still leading things out as they hit the great cycle sign. Both riders up high. Unlike the last heat, they're lined up single file.
It's a better view up there, Corey.
Indeed. Waiting again, shortening the race quite a bit. We're still up high into turn 3. California going underneath. Scoville side by side now at the red line. The faster finisher's got to get some good acceleration here onto the home straight. And she'll do the work to finish.
A little bit of an interesting tactic there. I haven't seen such a late jump in quite some time, but it did work. It did work.
It did work out. I think that conservation of energy, like you're thinking, you know, you don't underestimate any of these riders. I mean, we kind of did that earlier when you saw number 47 out of the qualifiers, didn't have it right, and then had such a great ride. You don't want to ever.
I messed up. You're right.
Never underestimate.
Just
what they're
calling me
capable
out
of.
on live stream.
Oh no,
I get it.
I'm learning right with you, right? These kids, they're, you know, and I saw this as well as the GP. We saw this. We see it all the time when riders come out to qualify. It's not necessarily their highest competitive effort.
That's true. That's true. And I think, you know, early on lap 1, when you're going slow, you can sort of eyeball the other competitor's cadence, and you can tell then what type of gearing they're on, and based on your knowledge of your final sprint and maybe what their qualifying time was, you can change your tactics mid-race based on what you're seeing out there on the field. The field is a metaphor for the track here. This is not a field.
Right now is Heat 3. This is Maya Brothers, number 75 in lane 2. Maze Wimbush, number 47, down in lane 1. Off they go. 2024 Devo, the rider in that dark blue with some lighter blue highlights, number 47.
Wimbush doubling up here today. Sprints and IO, it seems.
Yeah, busy morning for Wimbush so far. Getting a lot of laps here at the Velodrome during Junior Nats. My brother is from Star Trek, another one of our riders from the qualifier, top 5 times. So going to have the advantage, that rider in second wheel with that bright blue kit. We're going to see a lot of that team here this weekend. She'll opt for second position here as they hit the back straight, though. She'll start to take over and sit a little bit more side by side as we get into the middle part of this first lap. Junior men's sprints quarterfinal ride 1 is coming up after this, so bike checks and all the readiness needed from our junior men. That is our next event. Following that will be the second ride for the International Omnium for the 17 to 18 women. If you're on the live stream, don't forget you can go down to that video description to click for live results. We've got a link right there in the video description so you can follow along with the results as they're posted all throughout today, or you can just type in the browser tracktiming.live. Bells ringing for our 2 riders. Wimbush on the front. 75 sitting just behind her. Leaving a lot of room here. Wimbush is kind of looking forward, doesn't see the initial jump here. Star Trek getting up to speed as Maya takes over at the front. Nice jump out of turn 1. Kind of waited for Wimbush's eyes to be going in the wrong direction. Look out, as there's still plenty of track for Wimbush to try to close down and catch. She's showing good acceleration on the second half of the lap, but Maya's got this one locked in. Ride 1 will go the way of 75, it looks like. Star Trek, a good effort. Heat 4 coming up to the track now. It looks like number 84 is going to be moving up into lane 1. That's Sarah Vargas. Our riders out of California taking on local competitor here from Bellevue, Washington. This is Ruth Tomko, number 76 in their first ride of the quarterfinals. 74, we're looking for number 74 to bike check and then the ready area. 74. That's Frohnholz to the ready area. Bike check and then ready area. Frohnholz, number 74. Junior men's sprint coming up after this heat. The first heat will be Takagi and Frohnholz, followed by Bonilla and Coleman, and then Ford and Hauk.
Riders on track now, Vargas and Tomko qualifying next to each other in the 200 meters. So one of the closest matchups we have out here today, at least from a sprint time perspective. Tactics, though, you can throw it all away. We will see what happens.
If you're just coming into the park and checking this out, if you're on your morning stroll or you're tuning in on YouTube and are just joining the action, we're in the middle of our first session of the 2024 USA Cycling Junior Track National Championships, hosted for the first time here at our velodrome. We're actually be hosting it next year as well, so it'll be a lot of fun to see a lot of these kids return next year. Bell's ringing. And as Nolan's saying, this could be a close matchup in this quarterfinals. It's fun when the qualifying times are closer because technically the tactics should matter more in this matchup. It's going to be our rider on the front, though, taking over a little bit here. Tomko trying to keep control from the front position. Vargas on the wheel still. Sarah's trying to find move here out of turn 4. You don't want to start the overtake too soon. Can she get the pass going down the home straight? It's still Tomko in control. Vargas is looking like she can find some acceleration. Vargas making it look pretty clean there on the pass on the home straight.
Yeah, they showed great patience there while Rue let it out and just overtook there in maybe the final 30, 40 meters. great race.
Yeah, well timed. Very much well played. Good racing here for our juniors. We'll continue right on into the next event. We've got junior men in the 15-18 men's sprint tournament quarterfinal round. Ride 1 coming up. The first heat. Gabriel Takagi, Samuel Frohnholtz. On deck, Louis Bonilla, Cameron Coleman, followed by Andrew Ford, Grayson Hawk. Riders 6 and 64 to the ready area now. Bonilla, Coleman, we're looking for Bonilla and Coleman. On deck following them, Ford and Hawk. I see Haldy out there on the live chat. Now he's calling Nolan our local match sprint expert. Now he's going to be an expert in everything. See, I fake it, and Nolan actually knows what he's talking about. See, I'm just the good sounding voice, and then this is the guy who knows everything.
My mom used to say that.
There we go.
There's a difference between knowing and being able to execute.
Fair enough. Getting ourselves lined up here. This is number 74 in lane 1, Samuel Frohnholtz. South Carolina competitor taking on Gabriel Takagi, number 11, out of Kirkland, Washington, our local rider in lane 2. All right, juniors, let's make sure again, coaches, families, riders, timing is important here for our event. Tracktiming.live, check start list, know where we are in our program, and be ready for your starts. We appreciate everybody's help in keeping things timely and on schedule today. We're all excited to see you race, and we want you to get up here in time. This is our first ride in this round. One rider getting the bye, breaking the junior track record for the flying 200 meter this morning, JC Pyle. Pretty exciting. Correct. He's the one in the bye. On track now is Gabriel Takagi and Samuel Frohnholtz. Right. Takagi in the Jerry Baker Jr. kit, sitting up along the rail. Frohnholtz next door to him. Still in their first lap, taking this one very patiently to open things up here.
Frohnholtz given the stare down, slightly lower on the track here. It is Gabriel Takagi with the faster time, and thus probably with the tactical advantage here being up high, a little more potential energy to come around. The disparity in the 200 was about a 2-second gap, so we do expect to see Takagi leading it out here and making a gap, and would expect to turn off the gas here shortly and coast on in for the victory.
Yeah, well applied out of turn 3, as you said. He's got good top speed. Our second fastest qualifier today, demonstrating what that looks like here in motion. Bonilla and Coleman are coming up. On deck is Andrew Ford and Grayson Hawk. Women in the second ride for your Omnium. Junior women, 17-18, International Omnium Race 2. Coming up shortly, should all be through bike check and getting ready for your start shortly. We are going to go through these sprints quickly.
Well, yeah, Corey, it's the Junior Nationals. Everyone's pretty quick out here.
It's a very fast group of kids. Absolutely. This comes up heat 3 now to the track.
In lane 1 from Long Beach, California, we got Louis Bonilla, number 6, and then up top in lane 2, rider number 64, Cameron Coleman, coming from the Lexus Velodrome in Detroit.
Number 6 with the faster time, qualifying a little bit better here coming into this contest. But as we go through this, it gets closer and closer and more competitive potentially in this quarterfinal round. The Detroit rider sitting on the 2nd position right now, right on the wheel. If I recall correctly, Bonilla, our top 3 in the qualifiers were all 11.1s or better, essentially. So very quick top 3 times, and it was only another couple tenths of second back to the next couple finishers. So again, a great group showing up here today for our junior sprint tournament.
You know, I think it's worth a mention here that despite Cameron Coleman's slightly slower qualifying time, they are coming from the Detroit Velodrome, which is, I believe, a 180 or so. And so to get the fast qualifying time out of this track, which is so different, it would be a challenge. So I would expect the final lap here to be a little bit tighter in terms of finishing.
Yeah, that's a good point in terms of the comfort level on this velodrome will play a factor. But now it's a race. It's not just trying to put out this pretend number. Now we get to compete.
Yeah, compared to the Lexus, our track is too comfortable. It's too easy almost.
Right. Still sitting in that second wheel position, both riders assuming the sprinter's lane. About a third of the way into this lap. Awaiting acceleration, good watching over the right wheel. Now the jump coming from second position, that will be our rider out of Detroit. Makes the jump first. Good acceleration on top of the bike so quickly. Can we get a recovery from this? Ooh, we might get a second attempt here. Ooh, still up and out of the saddle, trying to get more acceleration out of this bike. Oh my goodness. 64. Unofficial call there for number 64. Definitely comes across the line first. And our last group will be coming up here. Last heat for this round. Andrew Ford, Grayson Hawk, heat 4 will be coming up here shortly. Then junior women, ride 2 for the Omnium, followed by the junior men in their second ride. Those riders need to be through ride check and ready to start on time. Let's bring our heat up. Grayson Hawk, number 1, Star Trek Racing out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, is taking on Andrew Ford, number 5, up in lane 2. El Cerrito, California competitor, lining up in their first ride of this quarterfinal round. And off we go. Grayson Hawk, the rider in the black and blue. for Star Trek right behind him. In the black and gray is our California competitor. And we'll see how this matchup goes. Again, by the qualifyings, we've gotten to now the most competitive heat of the group, closest in number and finishing speed. Thanks, kids. See you next time. Change of position here on the back straight. Andrew Ford will take over at the front. Kind of a slow lap there at about 150 meters completed. Ford decides to switch it up and get things moving a little bit more here into turn 3. Hawk moving up and down track a little bit behind Ford. Keeping him looking and guessing a little bit here under this first lap. Bell's ringing for 1 to go. Ford still in control, looking over the right shoulder now. Posting up very similar to what we've seen a lot of riders do here as you come into turn 1. It's about a really good place to assume that position if that's what you're hoping to do. Ford with a little bit faster finishing time, but not by much, is the rider on the inside. Taking that defensive position. Moves up a little bit into his body, then swings quickly down to the sprinter's lane. Ford in good control here. Hawk's got to find a way to counter this quickly. Big gap for Ford, and I think he's already got this pretty well locked in. Let's see how this finishes, but Ford looking over his shoulder saying, yep, got this one in control and done. Race 2 for the Junior Women Omnium coming up next. We'll have riders Jillian Holm, Ari Chen, Louisa Kelly, Riley Halpern, and Nora Vick on the blue band. Starting on the railing will be Regan Patashall, Kat Kendall, Avery Kavner, Julia Barna, and Maze Wimbush. Your riders getting started in here shortly for their second ride in the Omnium. And the whistle sounded for the beginning of the neutral. We're now into the tempo. They'll have 4 laps unscored here. Hero Bell at 10. We'll start scoring after that. Riders currently in the neutral. We'll get them started on the home straight, and then off and go. We'll go in this tempo. 1 point at the front every single lap until the end once we've started scoring. Right at the most number of points will pick up the most points in the Omnium as they continue on in this international Omnium competition. Ride 2 in the neutral.
So in the first race of the Omnium Core, we saw a finish that was basically a pack sprint. Typically in a tempo race like this, there's so much strategic advantage to getting out front and staying near the front that we likely will see some splits in this race. Maybe a little breakaway going up the road even. So it should be a bit more action here in the second race of the Omnium.
Looking forward to seeing how they play this one. It was a little bit more static and reserved at the beginning of that scratch race. But as you say, in this race, once it gets going, you got to go if you want points. Beginning of the race is almost like a continued neutral in many of these international tempos, right? It's a kind of a opportunity to continue rolling, get into position, get ready, start thinking about your tactics, those kinds of things.
Yeah, one other note here, while they do acquire points in the race, they do not directly transfer to their Omnium points totals. It just gives them the final placings for the race, in which the points allocated to first through 10th, whatnot, will be then allayed.
We might see a rider win with 3, 4, 5 points, but they're going to carry forward the 15 for winning the race.
Correct. Thank you for,
as an example,
more succinctly describing what's going on.
Indeed. 12 to go. Still no bell, so still no points in the front of the group just yet.
For all of you playing Corey Bingo at home, you can put a stamp over Indeed now.
Oh, that's a fun game.
I just started it.
I expect a full one tomorrow. Bingo already. I heard one. Oh my gosh. I've been on the mic that much already.
For all you folks tuning in at home, by all means, put other Corey Bingo words in the chat. Just put some quotes around it so we know.
Seeing 11 to go now. All together here, still in those laps where we haven't started scoring, so you can see the group still kind of holding off here. Seeing 10 to go, they'll get the bell next time around. That's going to be the signal that we will start the scoring. They'll see 9, and then the points will start being awarded. Bell next time around. Leading the competition so far, Reagan Padishall for Edge Cycling, number 32, won the scratch. She's got the red jersey on midfield right now. She's in that very low position, and she's been at the front of this field an awful lot in that scratch. She's already starting to assume a pretty similar position here. Kind of continue to show some dominance and strength in this group, I think she is.
Yeah, she won that sprint pretty, handily maybe too strong a word, but it was a very good sprint, and I think maybe that's where their power lies, is sprint power. So we'll see here if that power profile can transfer into some type of race that is a bit more yo-yo-y.
You have to put together that top speed and recovery and the endurance that this race requires. Just got the bell, so we have 8 laps of scoring upcoming. They just saw 9 to go. Our first point about to be awarded here. Padishall still leading the field, only 1 rider to score. She's currently in scoring position. And it looks like your Omnium leader is going to do enough work to try to hold on to this one, not let anybody come around the outside. Indeed, 32 in great position to pick up the first point.
Interesting move here, staying on the front into what is historically a headwind backstretch. I would expect a counterattack here coming into turns 3 and 4.
No jump yet. She's looking around. She can't see any movement or any wheel. So Padishall getting a lot of respect.
I think that might be the easiest point picked up all race. Nobody seemed to want to come around there, but despite the pace not being very high.
Yeah, giving Padishall some a little bit of breathing room here. A lot of respect this field's showing her. Your leader with 2 right now. Everybody else looking for their first point here. 6 to go. Here's some action. We see the movement coming up from Valkyrie Cycling, number 46, on the way. Not quite able to get there, though. Padishal for the 3rd point now. That was Julia Barna coming in on the way to try to pick up the point, but didn't quite get there in time. She'll fall back a little bit to the field, and now we've got another challenger, a little bit more energy coming from the field, making it a bit harder at the front for Padishal to keep picking up these points. I think we might have our first pass here. 5 to go, number 45 coming up to the front. Avery Kavner, Groove Subaru Excel Sports. Groove Subaru indeed. I did it again. Now you're gonna make me think about that word all day long.
Indeed, Corey, indeed.
At 4 to go, Padishal coming back to the front for another point. Don't forget, live streaming now on YouTube, youtube.com/JB Velodrome. We got cameras all over. We got action down in the race sometimes. We got the commentating up here going on, live chat. It's the place to be.
I love hanging out there so much that I thought I would do it in person.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we are.
Now you're up here. youtube.com/JB Velodrome. You can pick that up and share it with friends and family. You don't need to have the phone on if you don't want to. You can be watching the race with your eyes and sharing the video with folks everywhere and watch it back later too. It'll always be available for your rewatching pleasure. 32 again, another point. Bike check for the Omnium for the junior men. Bike check. Junior men, International Omnium, time to check in. Bike check. And then to the ready area. Riders, please be ready.
Padishal continuing to dominate here, setting tempo on the front. No one yet picking up the tempo to come around. Maybe one effort here.
Ooh, they'll go on the outside, I think. Number 34.
34, that's going to be Kat Kendall from Ironfly Academy Junior Development Team from Manhattan Beach, California. Probably racing down in Long Beach, perhaps.
And that is confirmed. So that'll give another rider with a point now. 2 in second is both Kat Kendall and Avery Kavner. Regan Padishal all alone with 5 points at the top of this competition. Doesn't even have to work for any more. She doesn't want to. She's got it all locked in. She's got the win in her back pocket, but why not get some more here? 1 to go.
You know, as long as they don't get lapped, I think they're going to be at the top.
That's a far left option there, isn't it? Padishal with another point gives her 6. They got the bell. We're in our final lap. It'll be interesting to see if one of the riders can win this sprint. They'll break the tie with the other riders with 1 point apiece and would be in second for winning this final sprint. So I think one of our riders with no points is going to be motivated here to try to get this last one for sure.
But not as motivated as Padishal, who is putting down the watts here to try to take the final sprint as well.
Why not? One more for Padishal. Still an important finish for number 35 and 39. These other riders in the competition that need to break the tie at 0. But wow, Padishal.
I think they might have heard me early on in my observations and decided to prove me wrong once again, Corey. Incredible effort, on and on. I would say signaling to the rest of the crew there that they might be the rider to beat here for the Omnium.
It'll be fun to watch and see if any of these athletes can put it together in the remaining race formats against her, but she saw she's got good sprint speed and she's clearly got good endurance. She just drove the group around for several laps, so it'll be fun to watch these women try to figure out how to take down Padishal, who takes the early advantage after 2 rides in the Omnium. We'll take both the scratch and the tempo.
And that whistle means something.
Next group up.
I'm actually trying to figure this out.
Next group up.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Let's keep the racing going. Junior men for the Omnium, you're called to your start. Ride 2, junior men in the National Omnium for your start. Women quarterfinal sprints, ride 2 comes up after the tempo race here. Riders in the junior women's sprint tournament. Ride 2 of the quarterfinals, be ready. Bike check and the rest, please.
Top three in this, coming from the first race here from the scratch, is going to be Merrick Gallagher from Jerry Baker Jr.'s, Enzo Edmonds from Hot Tubes Devo, and then it's going to be Otis Engel from Kelly Benefit Cycling out of Pennsylvania. Rest of the riders in order of finishing place from that scratch race.
Riders into the neutral. Ride 2. Tempo. Same thing as we saw just a moment ago from our junior women. First 4 laps unscored. We'll hear a bell and then off we go. First rider at the front every lap until the finish gets 1 point. More great racing going on later today. If you're a fan of the velodrome out there and you come to our normal Friday night action, you'll be maybe a little bit surprised to see that evening sessions this weekend are all 6 p.m. starts. We will have the conclusion for many of the races we're seeing here, including our sprints, going on during tonight's program that starts at 6 p.m. instead of our normal 7 p.m. start. So if you want to catch that on the live stream or come and join us at the park, 6 p.m. is our second session today. Whistle sounded for the start of the race. They saw 19 to go. 4 laps here without points. And then we'll start awarding that first rider 1 point per lap. Acceleration there from the rider in the dark blue. It's Nathan Farmer, number 18, is the first kind of instigator of speed. Kind of talked about it in the junior women. The first couple of laps can oftentimes be almost like a continued neutral, but Farmer says, let's move. Let's go ahead and start putting the pressure on now. Only got so many laps to work against these riders. Every lap counts. Might as well make these ones fast too. Farmer will assume the front position as the field sitting above the blue line. 17 to go.
Jack Demar sitting a little bit down low in that bright green and black kit, hoping to position themselves for maybe one of the first point sprints here. And looks like is that Jack from Team Epic?
It does look like our Portland rider. I think that might be Newman actually jumping up to the front. His teammate, number 7. That is Jack Hampson. Indeed. That's the one. Making the jump up to the front, a nice acceleration here, and as you mentioned, positioned to catch that acceleration is number 14. Demar following in the wheel now of Hampson, who's started this big acceleration at the front. They're going to be getting their first bell. No point on the line just yet. Next lap, we begin scoring. Dymar gets off the front here for Hampson, who takes over, looking for his first value point of the race. The field stretched out into a couple of different clumps here, single file. Everybody scrambling to hold on to the front.
They were so cooperative there for a few laps, but we got Jack Demar from Denver coming. Ooh, tight. I thought they were going to come over the top for the point, but I'm going to wait for the official decision. When there's points out on the line, cooperation does go out the window a bit.
Yeah, great contest there at the line for sure. It does go to 14 on the outside. Jack with a good one there coming around Hampson. This is a rider in third place overall coming into the race, number 25. Otis Engel, the Kelly Benefits Cycling Team. I think he's in the colors of Star Trek today, if I'm not mistaken by the kit. Picks up his first point.
Otis gapping Jack, who had already put in quite a dig for a point there. This could be the sort of gap that you'd see them hanging on to and picking up a couple points. Significant.
Brilliant move here. This will pay off very well at this stage of the race. Still plenty of laps to go chase this rider down.
Jack sitting in no man's land in between the lead and the group of two coming up behind. That group of two being led by...
That's number 14 again. Going back to Dymar. Currently in second place with 1 point. And then look at the second and first place in the Omnium over here under the Stanley sign in the bridging effort here. It looks like Gallagher's just watching his wheel. Now he's going to try to make the jump up finally. Trying to close it in. Our leader in the Omnium coming into this is way off the lead. Now trying to get a little bit closer. But he's trying to work against our rider from Hot Tubes, number 13. Your leader off the front, number 25, did pick up another one. It's Otis Engel with now winning the second and third point sprints here. 2 points in his back pocket. Dymar in second with 1. 10 to go. Another point for Otis. This chasing group is trying so hard to get up there. Number 8 is Jaden Lee of Star Trek trying to lead it. Finton Balthus takes over at the front. There's Jack Dymar, your group of 3.
Gallagher and Edmonds just toying with each other in, I guess that would be group 3 on the road.
Yeah, it seems like Gallagher is much more interested in beating number 14 there, pardon me, number 13, Enzo Edmonds. That's that rider in that light blue with the white helmet. They came into this race first and second in the Omnium. They're not racing against anybody else right now. Engel did pick up another at 9 to go. And in turn 2, Engel is caught. We've got a new front of the race. The rider in green now taking over the front is Dymar. Edmonds and Gallagher about 100 meters back from the leaders right now. Still not really working together. They're kind of working against each other at the moment. Come back to the leaders and see who's going to pick up the point this time. Dymar sprinting. Ooh. You'll get it, number 14, from the looks of that. Points totals is Otis Engel in the lead with 5. Jack Dymar in second with 2. Everybody else looking for their first point. Dymar again, number 14, just over number 25. Your racers in first and second right now in the tempo, battling in head-to-head. The rider in green trying to come back into this one and take over as the rider in blue, your leader, with 5. Dymar now with 3.
This is an interesting scenario. Not only are there only 2 folks who've been picking up points so far, they are also gaining on the collective rest of the field here. We could see a lap gain.
Indeed, they're getting awfully close. 6 to go. Number 14, it looks jumps up for that one, taking another point from Engel. I think he's just a point back now from your leader. This is Gallagher here and Edmonds on turn 1, still well off the leaders. They're about a half lap back now. And now we have the new front of the race as we have a catch in the field from the leaders. That means Gallagher is now the front of the race. Gallagher is now the front of the race. Your front four did get the +20 for catching the field. The new front of the race for the tempo purposes is between Gallagher and Edmonds now, as they've watched those group of four go down the track all the way up to the field. And now they've taken over at the front. Your leaders with 25, 24, 20, and 20. James Likes got the last point in the previous sprint out of that field, but now number 2, Gallagher, will get his first point of the race. Number 8 leading the field right now at 4 to go. Going back to the lead of the race between Edmonds and Gallagher. Been kind of waiting for these two to battle.
Gallagher pushing out to the front of the group here. Should take another sprint, but looks like some pace over the top. Looks like Gallagher might have unclipped there in that sprint.
Trying to get his foot back in. This is a bad one here. That's a tough place to be, and Edmonds is going to take advantage.
Going into time trial mode is going to be Otis Edmonds here. Going to pick up another point as Gallagher still struggles to get his foot back in.
Yeah, that's a rough place to be in, but this competitor here says that. Well, that's how the chips fall. I'm going to go take advantage. Edmonds will continue to pick up some points here at 2 to go. One more for him. That gives him 2 points. That should put him into fifth place overall, just behind the riders that caught the field. Gallagher looks like he might have reestablished control here. But he's far enough away from the field with only 2 to go. I don't think he needs to really work too hard. And he knows this would be lost effort at this stage. Maybe just let Edmonds go up and pick up the points. Your rider in blue with the white helmet getting 1 to go, and 1 more point here, likely another as he comes around the track one more time.
Many folks in the bunch sitting on 0 points are actually going to be sprinting here for the final placings in the final sprint. I think that what do we have? Maybe 6 or 7 riders with points only.
1 to go for the field, getting the bell, 1 to go. The top 2 positions are essentially settled. Jaden Lee and Fenton Balfus, both with 20, didn't get a single point before catching. They are sprinting against each other for 3rd. So Fenton Balfus, he's back right now behind the Star Trek rider, so he's in an important spot here. Star Trek under Stanley in the black and blue should be able to get 3rd place as he's getting ahead of Balfus for this last sprint. And that is an important little tiebreak there for number 8, who gets in front of number 19. Good for 3rd on the podium. And that also will be all the rest of the positions there.
All riders exiting on the backstretch. Reminder, all riders exiting on the backstretch. You can do it. I believe in you.
Turn left, turn left. You do it all the time. Just do it again. Turn left into that warm-up circle. Pro, look at that move. There they go. Very
Rider
nice.
43. Rider 43 to the ready area, please. 4-3.
Here's that junior women's sprint tournament. Ride 2 of the quarterfinals. Fidois, Gilchrist. Then Scoville and Ford. Brothers, Wimbush, Vargas, and Tomko. Same 4 heats. Our second ride coming up now. All right, we're going to be bringing up, that was indeed a great race we just saw a moment ago. I should call out Otis Engel, your winner of the tempo with 25 points. Jack Dymar picked up 24, good for 2nd place. And Jaden Lee with 20, tiebreak there in the final sprint, should end up in 3rd after that final sprint. All results, of course, tracktiming.live. Our normal fans are also used to veldrum.org/live. That also has the link posted there right at the top at that red button. We now continue into Ride 2, the quarterfinals of the sprint tournament for our junior women. Coming up after this, junior men will also continue on in their sprints. Riders, please be ready for Ride 2. Gilchrist lines up in lane 1, number 33 for the J. Baker Juniors. It's Rita Fidois, Boulder Valley Velodrome out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Lined up in lane 2, that's bib number 43. Sound of the whistle means racing's underway. We're so happy and proud to be hosting the 2024 Junior Track National Championships here at our velodrome. We're operated by the Marymore Velodrome Association, nonprofits who run this place since 1975 when it was first constructed. We maintain it in cooperation with our good friends here at King County Parks. If it's your first time visiting, we hope you're loving and enjoying Redmond, Washington, and our beautiful park here. If you're out on the live stream, this is kind of our usual thing we do. We're being helped a little bit by our friends at Track Timing Live to have this great live results up on our page. But other than that, we stream all of our racing all the time. We're out here trying to make the great message that track racing is exciting, it's fun to watch, it's great for sport, it's great for athletes, it's great for communities, it's great for kids. Our track is a great place for juniors to learn and ride. So if you want to help support us in our growth, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up on the video, share it with friends and family. Help us out on our march to over 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Get the one to go bell. The faster rider in this group from the first ride, it was shown pretty well, is going to be Feedwa, winning ride 1. That's the ride on the outside right now. On the inside is Gilchrist, trying to figure out a way to win this second matchup. She'll take the inside lane this time coming into the second half of this lap. Still controlling the inside position and no speed from either rider. Now some acceleration coming into turn 3. Gilchrist hoping to match the quick acceleration from Feedwa, not able to find the back wheel. Rita's starting to pull away a little bit here. Your rider from Bodo Valley looking very well controlled there.
A very speedy and reserved ride once again, saving some matches for future match-ups.
Heat 2, Scoville and Ford coming up onto the track now. On deck, Heat 3, Brothers in Wimbush. Heat 4, Vargas, Tomco. '79, Hannah Ford lining up down in lane 1, taking on number 31, Danny Scoville up in lane 2. You might recall first ride between these two. A fairly late effort from Scoville. I mean, it was within 150 meters or so, kind of leaving it to the last moment. Looked like she had to put out quite a bit of energy there to come around forward in the final moments. We'll see how this ride matches up in the second attempt here.
They're going at a bit of a creeping pace at the moment. I believe they're obligated to go at least a walking pace, which this is teetering on the edge of. Looks like we got our head commissaire Zach here with the gun out just in case things get a little too slow and they're breaking the rules.
Hannah Ford still in the lead of the lap. The rider in the white with orange out of California, your local Jerry Baker Jr. rider. Scoville with the bright orange helmet sitting next door. Both taking, as you said, a pretty slow lap here.
Our track here in the Great Northwest, 400 meters, very lightly sloped. You can track stand in the corners if you've got the skills. Haven't seen it in quite some time, but it is possible, especially today with this heat. Those tires are going to be awfully sticky.
Yeah, I think I did see a little bit of that on display at the Grand Prix this year. It was Tyler Davies that pulled a little bit of antics up there in the corner. So it is definitely doable, as you say, especially on a hot day like today. We'll see.
Today's less about the show and more about victory.
Indeed. Play it smart, play it safe.
Indeed.
Scoville on the front of the lap still, winning the first race, trying to find the second one in the first matchup. Came from the second position, now is in the lead, staying high, not taking the sprinter's lane yet. Both riders playing at the blue line right now. Scoville making the lap a little bit longer for both, but looks like she's got good closing speed and will take over at the front. And that'll be Scoville's ride in the second matchup, and that'll advance her on in the tournament. Heat 3 coming up to the track. Brothers and Wimbush, followed by Vargas and Tomko. Junior men in the sprints. Ride 2 for your quarterfinals is coming up next. Please be ready. Bike check and ready for your start.
In position 1 is going to be Maya Brothers coming from Star Trek. They took the victory last time by, taking the victory on Heat 1 there. Pretty dominating sprint, lots of power, lots of speed. We will see now if Wimbush from 2024 Devo can find a tactical advantage and sneak around for a victory here, taking it to a third ride.
It's always a difficult ask when you're double dipping like Wimbush is as well. Getting double laps out here or more, because competing in our Omnium today. Still rider from Star Trek on the lead of the lap. Your winner of the first round in this quarterfinal between these two. Wimbush trying to find a way to upset here in the second ride and maybe force round 3. Maya Brothers still looking for Wimbush to come around on the left side here, just kind of keeping the eyes on the lower part of the track. Still in single file as they come into turn 1. Tries to take the high move. Brothers will respond quickly. Down to the sprinter's lane, they go side by side. No positional advantage to be out of the sprinter's lane, so Wimbush will back off a little bit, try to get into that sprinter's lane. Benefit from a little bit of draft here, maybe before trying a second effort. Getting up to speed on the home straight. Wimbush trying for one here. Brothers holding on for another. And looks like Maya Brothers, number 75, goes 1-2 in this one and is all done. Continuing on to the next round. Wimbush with a good attempt there, trying it a different way. Didn't quite find the line first. And that'll be in for her in the sprint tournament. Heat 4. Coming up to the track now. Sarah Vargas, Rutamko on deck. First heat for the junior men. Quarterfinal round, sprints, ride 2. Takagi and Frohnholtz in the ready area now. On deck, Bonilla and Coleman, followed by Andrew Ford, Grayson Hawk. Off we go here. This is our final heat for this round. A second ride. We've seen 3 heats so far, all settled in this round. Perhaps here between Vargas and Tomko, potentially our closest match of the day in this round. Maybe we'll see a forced third ride. This is Rue Tomko, number 76, in the leading position right now, just out in front of Sarah Vargas, number 84, who took the first ride. Still Tomko on the front, keeping an eye on the movement behind them. Not seeing any attack just yet. Coming down the home straight, a little bit of separation between our two riders. Tomko still can't get a bead on Vargas yet. She's staying right behind her all the way through turn one. Tomko's starting to sense maybe left shoulder, continues to look that direction. They don't see any jump yet. We're getting pretty short again on this lap as they're crossing over 200 meters to go. Vargas exploding for the second position. Tomko, can we get a response in time? Look at the gap. Vargas, that was a big jump. And that'll do it. 2 in a row for Vargas, it looks like. Our quarterfinal round for the junior women essentially is now done as we found our 4 riders advancing into the semifinals. Junior men, quarterfinal round, ride 2 coming up. This is heat 2. Takagi and Freundholtz on deck. Bonilla and Coleman, followed by Ford and Hawk in heat 3. Pardon me, heat 4. Heat 1 still solely occupied by JC Pyle, who gets the bye through this entire round. He'll be waiting the semifinals to see who he'll match up against. Here comes Heat 2 of Takagi getting lined up into lane 1. That's number 11 for the Jerry Baker Juniors. Samuel Freundholtz, number 74, Super Performance Junior Development Team, Eastleigh, South Carolina. If you recall, ride 1 for this quarterfinal matchup was pretty strongly in the direction of number 11. They lined up side by side in turn 2, and you saw the finishing speed there on the final lap.
Hard to miss it. Hard to miss it.
We'll see how these two play in the second match, but as you mentioned in their first matchup, Nolan, the time between these two in the qualifiers was more than a second. So Takagi's trying to use that top speed one more time to keep riding on into the semifinals and maybe match up against his teammate who's been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the next round.
Yeah, Samuel here was going to have to find some creative tactics to overcome that speed differential. I don't have any advice for the rider.
I guess that's why you're not getting any consulting or coaching money today.
0.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
No one would ever do that.
Siegel's got you on watch, man. He's keeping an eye on you. 1 to go. Takagi playing the waiting game here as long as he can. There's only one way to go, and it's around the right at this stage. He's got the sprinter's lane. And from the front, he'll start to get this thing initiated. And based on pure finishing speed, has good advantage here. Shorter distance in the front. And number 11, Takagi, 2 rides in a row.
A couple of clean finishes there for Takagi, advancing on to the next round.
Heat 3 requested up to the track now. Louis Bonilla coming up against Cameron Coleman in Heat 3. In the ready area now, it should be Heat 4. Andrew Ford, Grayson Hawk. That'll be the last heat of this round for the quarterfinals. We do not need Ride 3 for the junior women, so that event is not on our schedule anymore.
In the first round of this matchup, we did see Cameron Coleman from Mad Track and Lexus with the victory. It was tight though, a very close finish, and I would expect something similar here now.
They're looking for the rider from Ironfly to try to get a win here, number 6, and force Ride 3 today. We haven't had one of those yet. The bold colors of the Mad Track Racing team kind of backing off the front position, allowing for Academy to take over the front now. That's our rider from the Lexus Velodrome, Detroit area. The winner, as you mentioned, of that first matchup in a close ride. Came down to the final second there. It's now Bonilla on the front. Got to see quite a bit of work from Bonilla during Junior Takeover. He's been around here recently the past couple of weeks. We do a sort of a invitational special just for weekend for juniors. It's not by invite only, but it's essentially a whole weekend that's just for junior development. And we get riders from, especially on the West Coast, but riders can come from everywhere and everywhere that want to come for the weekend. They get to race on Friday night, and they get to have some sprint tournament action, and Saturday all-day racing. It's great junior preparation for junior track nats, knowing that we're going to be hosting it next year. Ooh, look at this. 2 track standing going on over there in turn 3 is we're getting pushed up against the railing a little bit. Having to hop the wheel just to keep the bike in control. Whoa. Bonilla okay here, feeling very comfortable repositioning around. Both riders kind of snaking up and down. There's a lot of energy being spent here between turn 3 and 4.
The only rule of track standing I'm aware of is you can't roll backwards.
One to go. Bonilla on the front of the lap. This should be a good one here. Excited to see if our rider from Detroit can go 2 for 2 here. Academy is going to try to bring us to that third ride. As close as it was the first time, this is going to come down to the line once again. Academy moving it nicely. Bonilla on the front. Up and out of the saddle. Great acceleration, but glued onto that wheel and ready for the takeover around in the corner. Here comes overpass into turn 4. Onto the home straight. Bonilla is trying to hold on. Bonilla gets it this time by almost a full bike. Mirrored the first match in more ways than one, I would say, besides being a flip of the finish.
Yeah, I was half expecting the rider from Lexus Velodrome there, Cameron Coleman, to come around at the finish there, but Bonilla just too fast, showing the power, taking it to a ride 3. That should be an exciting finish.
Heat 4. Andrew Ford and Grayson Hawk coming up. This is our final heat in the second ride for the quarterfinals. We'll start in just a moment as our officials team is coordinating and communicating on just a few things before we begin. Already lined up for their start, though, is this fourth heat. Grayson Hawk is in line 2, bib number 1 for Star Trek Racing. Number 5 right next door is Andrew Ford for their second ride. And the race has been stopped. Riders back around for your restart. Andrew Ford and Grayson Hawk coming back around for their second start. Ford laning up once again in lane 1. The winner of the first matchup is number 5. So it's on the back of Grayson Hawk number 1 to try to find the victory here and force ride 3.
The stoppage call on that previous race was due to contact. It can be accidental, but it was clearly not. Both riders intentionally shouldering, and that yielded a stoppage. I believe if that happens again, someone would be relegated.
Star Trek on the front right now. Number 1, Grayson Hawk has got to get a win here if he wants that opportunity to continue on. He has at least 2 rides left in him if he wants to move ahead here. Number 5, Ford, nice jump against the rail as you see Hawk catch it pretty quick. But Ford, talk about quick, he has gotten the bike up to speed and very nicely on the back straight. Now he's just trying to hold it on here. A bike and a half separating our 2 riders coming onto the home straight. Ford looking for 2 in a row. Number 5 will find this one, it looks like, in nice fashion. Five and a half minutes, the current rest time required for the third ride for our junior men in the quarterfinal. We have 1 ride in this third ride for the quarterfinals. 5 minutes plus of rest time required. Now we'll take a bit of time off the microphone, just a quick pause, and we'll be back very shortly. Again, short required rest time for our riders in the third ride for the junior men sprints in the quarterfinals. Thank you. And the sound of the whistle means rest time is over. We can now call up our ride. This is the third ride in the quarterfinals of the junior men's sprint tournament. Heat 3, Bonilla and Coleman, the only group required to race in this third ride, pardon me. And this will settle the score between Luis Bonilla of Ironfly Racing, Long Beach, California, Cameron Coleman, our Mad Track cycling team competitor at Lexus Velodrome. Took the first one to number 64, and the second matchup was number 6, Bonilla. A nice back and forth contest. We'll see how things go here in their third race in just a moment. Calling up now Heat 3 for their third ride in the quarterfinal rounds. One rider will get the honor of continuing on into the semifinal round. And up for our final matchup here between these two, we will have one rider continuing on. It will be either number 64, Cameron Coleman, lined up in lane 1 for Mad Track Cycling, or it will be Luis Bonilla for Ironfly Academy Race Team, and number 6 up there in lane 2. Ride 3 about ready to start. I'm feeling a good contest here. The first one, we look back at the finish, it was less than a tenth of a second between the two at the finish there, as would look to be Bonilla in good control, but Cameron Coleman coming around the outside. Great finish there by 1/10 of a second or so, a really close finish. The last matchup, Bonilla from the sprinter's lane, just kind of pulled away. There's a little bit more different of a finish there, a little bit more separation between our two riders in round 2.
I also watched those two and saw the same things.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
We both have eyes that are working well enough.
Today, I had a couple of vegetables this morning.
There you go.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I would never.
Just coffee. That was your entire breakfast?
Yeah, with horchata in it,
Perfect.
I do recommend.
Perfect. You're good to go. On the back straight, our riders kind of staying in a similar formation now up into turn 3. A little bit of gap here between the two riders as Bonilla sitting off the back of Coleman. Cameron Coleman on the front still. A lot of space here being left between the two riders, kind of more than we've seen in most of these races up to this point.
Oh boy.
There comes the run at the wheel. Bonilla's looking back to see what kind of response he's going to get. He will take over in the sprinter's lane. A nice gap here. It's going to be a long lap for these two riders.
This is going to be about a 100-meter longer sprint than the previous session.
Coleman starting to dig in to try to get back on this lost space here on the track. Does he have enough closing speed? Bonilla. Ooh, Bonilla. A nice move out of turn 1. He's feeling himself there. Nice shake of the head. You could feel that that was hard-earned. He knew that he had tough competition, and he lined up with a strategy. It worked well for him on this matchup.
Sponge technicians, this is your time to shine. Sponge technicians.
Coming up next, we do have pursuits. We're setting up our start gates now. This will be our finals for the pursuits upcoming, and we'll need at least a minute for dry run practice here on the timing. Make sure everything's all set to go before we begin. This is the pursuits upcoming. This is the pursuit final for 15-16 women up first, then the 15-16 men. Our junior women will be racing a 2-kilometer contest today, a 5-lap event, starting in the middle of the straights, either home or away.
The American record for this held by Megan Jastrap in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Do you think the record's safe?
That's a pretty quick time. We'll see today. Since we're talking records, we did pull up on our website, since we do have our local records also recorded for times that we keep here. Junior women 2K pursuit record set in 2021 during that year's what we call Fred's race. For our non-locals, that's our regional championships. That's been most often for juniors and masters that we host here. Kelly Darlene set the time at 2:39.125 is the current standing junior track record for the women in 2K distance. Still $100 standing reward for anybody who can break a track record while they're here at the Velodrome. Take down the record and take home $100 cash right away and get into our record books. And it looks like we're giving the starters the okay to get ready for their starts here. It's Luna Mendoza and Renna Fuller in first heat. For those not here at the Velodrome with us watching online, the wind's conditions getting a little bit gusty here. It's actually picking up quite a bit here in the afternoon. This will be an impact today on our pursuit efforts. Still good temperature here. We're dealing with a really lovely weekend upcoming. The wind coming across from my left, kind of across, would be a headwind on the back straight at this stage, is what it looks like we're getting. It will be Luna Mendoza, again, number 83. Renna Fuller, number 82 in the first heat, up on the track together. Number 87 and 84, that's Jimenez Palos and Vargas on deck, followed by number 81, Lucy Dorr, and 80, Tegan Morgan. Just about ready to start our first heat here in the 2K. Got 2 riders up. And 2 clean starts for our Jerry Baker Jr. riders, both sharing this first heat. On the home straight, that's Luna Mendoza. Opposite us on the far side was number 82, Renna Fuller, getting her start. 5 full laps around the track. Finishing where they started after 5 laps completed. In the head-to-head, a little bit of advantage right now to Fuller after 1 lap completed.
Renna Fuller extending the gap a bit here, or closing the gap, depending on your perspective.
Heat 2 will be Paolo Jimenez and Dorr. They should be in the ready area now. On deck is Morgan and Vargas. It looks like it might just be, pardon me, it'll be just, it's Morgan and Dorr in Heat 3 now, as we have a DNS from Heat 2. So Heat 2 will be Jimenez Paulos up on the track and to the ready area now. On deck is Heat 3, Dorr and Morgan. Very similar lap time on that last lap, so Fuller getting out to a bit of an early start, getting a little closer on the lap times here as we go on, but pulling ahead a little bit each and every lap is our rider just now on the home straight. She will be finishing on the back straight as a reminder. That's where she started, number 82.
Different riders do have different pacing strategies, perhaps even set up with a coach based on their power profile and fatigue levels. It does look like there is some fatigue setting in for both riders, to be expected, however. Looks like I heard a bell on the backstretch there with 1 to go. I do expect to hear another bell here on the home stretch.
And that is Mendoza getting that final bell. Last lap for Mendoza, and here comes Fuller on to her final lap as well.
Indeed.
in the first heat. Both our riders all finished up and will be making their way off. Congratulations to both of our riders. Final time for Luna Mendoza, 3:20.028. Renna Fuller, 3:07.016. We could ask a little clearing of the people here along the home straight. There we go, sight lines, thank you. This is Emma Jimenez Paulos, bib number 87, riding alone on the track here in this second heat. We had one DNS, one rider up, about ready to get there. Start on the home straight. Good start here for our rider out of Michigan. This is one rider in this heat, our second heat of the group. Emma off to a nice start here. Seeing 4 to go. Setting a good pace so far, on pace to take over the lead of the competition up to this point. Good lap time there on the last one, sub 30 on that second completed lap. It's a good tempo to be on.
You know, people on the internet say that you can't see aerodynamics. There are often things that they're a little counterintuitive, but from my perspective, they look pretty aero.
Nice assessment of the facts there. I appreciate that. From match sprint expert now to aerodynamics just by visual cue.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the attachment of air across the laminar flow across the wheels, I'm here for that.
You're leveling up the vocabulary up here. That bell is ringing already. Nice effort here. Still on pace to take over at the top of this one. Another 30-ish second time there on the laps. Looking very good. Lucy Dorr and Tegan Morgan should be in the ready areas and getting set to start here very shortly. Your junior men also in their pursuits today coming up next. The official time, 2:35.633. Jimenez Palos coming in quick with a 2:35.633. Next heat now getting set to start. We'll comment a bit more here in a second as this race is getting started. Your final heat for the women in their pursuit. And off we go. So that last time we just saw will be a junior 15-16 women track record. Very impressive speed for that age category. So now Emma setting a very fast time, record-setting fast time for us here at our track. On the track now, two great competitors. Tegan Morgan just now coming on the home straight. The Greater Houston Cycling Foundation competitor, number 80. And Lucy Dorr, the Jerry Baker Juniors race team. Now, this is worth mentioning. Our local rider, Lucy, was struck by a vehicle while riding her bike back in December, broke her femur out of the incident, has been away from the bike since. This is her first competitive event since the incident, is back here today. So we're really excited to see Lucy back on the bike. And one of the things I called her racing a lot last year is I said how fast she was rising, how quick she was getting. So fast was she coming onto the sport. And then the incident.
Yeah, unfortunate incident to be sure, but exciting to see them back out at the track and racing. I do believe they've been on the bike, just perhaps on the trainer, getting the fitness back and getting the musculature back and ticking. So looks like also, I will say, off to an early lead here, at least compared to their pursuing counterpart.
Couple seconds back in the competitive time set by Emma. But certainly within this heat, Dorr looking a little bit faster in the first couple laps. Still within striking distance of a good podium finish, currently in second fastest time at this stage in the race. Well, let's not forget Tegan Morgan, who's also within top 3 speed right now. She can keep on her tempo, is also looking at a good position on the podium today. So this heat still has a good opportunity to move well up into the finishing order. 5 competitors today, obviously, so getting up on the top steps. The goal of all of these young competitors today. Riders will be getting the bell right here. It's 1 to go for Dorr, and on the back straight we'll hear the bell as well for Tegan Morgan. Yes, I saw the question on the live stream, and congrats again to Emma for setting a track record for the age group in this event. 2:35, a very quick time today, and will be on top of the podium for this group, no question about that. Your finishing time coming in now for both of these riders. We'll see how they slot in against what has been a great group for the junior women in this pursuit. Dorr with a nice time of 2:45.394, a solid effort for second place, and indeed Tegan Morgan will finish in third here today with a 2:52.201. But your champ Emma, track record for the age group 2:35, impressive.
Up next is going to be the 15-16 pursuit finals for the men. It's going to be a 3 kilometer, 7.5 lap race here. Up first, from CFC Skunkworks Flight School, Noah Hoffman up against Seth Holland from the, Greater Houston Cycling Foundation presented by Schottenkirk Kia out of Katy, Texas.
Heat 1 getting ready to start again. We've got Noah Hoffman on the home straight. That's Seth Holland on the far side on the back straight.
We collide, we break down. With sadness,
Clean start from both riders.
when words are said,
And that's the only analysis I have so far.
With 12 riders in the group, it's going to be tougher to get up on that podium. So it'll be fun to watch this contest kind of evolve as we go. Seven and a half laps here today. They'll finish on the opposite straight they started on. So and when the race comes to its conclusion, we'll see the rider here with the orange helmet now coming to home straight will finish on this side after 7.5 laps completed. Sorry, rest of the men to the left, the ready area.
Up next is Heat 2 with Alvin Lin and Tristan Tukey. On deck then would be Ryder Carlson in Heat 3 up against Jack Clary. Out on the patio is going to be Hugo Eisman and Noah Schumskas in Heat 4. On the veranda is Phillips Claude and Dalton Copeland, Heat 5. And way out on the driveway, did we say, was going to be Cautious Adamski in Heat 6 up against Gavin Newman.
All riders need to be through bike check and getting ready at this stage. We're looking for our riders to complete a bike check already and be ready for their starts again. Please be ready to go. All riders here in the junior men individual pursuit. Our 15 through 16-year-olds currently on track right now. As first heat, Seth Holland for the Greater Houston Cycling Foundation out ahead of number 60, Noah Hoffman. Essentially 2 to go here now for a rider on the home straight. We'll hear the bell next time for both these riders opposite of where they started. Here's the first bell we'll hear today for Seth Holland on the home straight. We'll finish here in a lap. We hear the bell ringing opposite us for Noah Hoffman now. It'll be our Houston rider to set the fast time of the group so far. Your first heat coming out here, and he'll be the faster of the two today. Let's see where our athlete's time comes in here. And the time coming in for Noah Hoffman is 4.279, 4 minutes, 0.279. Seth Holland, a 3:52.443, 3:52.443. Now your fast time of the group today so far. Heat 2 coming on the track next. Track record for the event of those interests is the 3:41 by Gallagher for this age group. A little bit of an issue there on the start, but it is a rider kind of getting back into the cleats, it looks like, was the main issue. Back under speed now, number 68 recovering. That was Tristan Tukey. Alvin Lynn, number 63, coming onto the home straight now.
I'm not sure we have any track records specifically for age group Merckx TT, which is what is happening here. If you are unfamiliar, a Merckx time trial is where you just use classic drop bars as opposed to the aero skis, if you will, and something that you see out on the road in some like road race Omnium style weekends and some of the those sorts of things. But out here at the track, it is uncommon. But rider, once they got clipped back in, seems to have leveled the gap out and is clipping along at a good pace.
Fun fact, earlier today, I wasn't able to confirm it on mic earlier, but Emma, our record setter for the 15-16 woman, did indeed have the fastest time of any junior woman in the event. So we'll go in our record books, and she will pick up the $100 cash. Congratulations to our rider, Emma, for an incredible ride today, taking all junior women's fastest time here at our track by, if I'm going to recall now, it's about a 4-second improvement. I mean, she looked fast. We're talking about how smooth she looked on the opening effort and how good of an effort it was, but record pace, really impressive.
Love to see it. That's like 7 horchata coffees if she wants.
Right in the middle of our current heat now. Both riders a little bit off pace to take over the top. Alvin Lynn for Star Trek currently the second fastest time at this stage of the race if he were to keep on this similar clip. After the last timing, he pushes back to third, so he's kind of teetering on taking over at second, depending on how these last few laps go. That's this rider in the black and blue on the home straight now.
I will say Noah Hoffman, though, very impressive here in quite an unaerodynamic position, all else equal. I mean, this sort of race is heavily influenced by the aerodynamics, and that position is not it.
And also with a tough start. Coming back and improving on the gap, lap by lap, so.
Could be the adrenaline coursing through the veins.
Seeing 2 to go after that last time on their finishing half. About a lap and a half now remaining for both riders.
It is worth noting, if you do not train with an aero ski position, it is very difficult to then miraculously output that same power if you just adopted it for race day. So if Noah is only training on a road bike in this position, then it would behoove him, as he's doing here, to continue to use that position for a race, as that's where they're going to output the most power.
And if it wasn't for that rough start, I think this would be even more of a dead heat than it is. I mean, there's only, what now, a half a second between these two riders on this heat. So Hoffman with a nice race today. He's going to feel unfortunate about that start, but still puts together a really good showing here against his opponent in the heat. And the riders coming in at almost the same time here. Neither will knock off somewhere. I'm sorry, we're misannouncing. That was Tristan Tukey that was out there with the impressive effort to recover. Number 68. Alvin Lin with a time of 4:04.285. Good for third right now, and good for fourth currently is Tristan Tukey's time of a 4:05.719.
Whoops. Please forgive us online. We messed up.
Hoffman's on the sidelines like, I'm doing what?
Chilling, hopefully.
Heat 3 coming up next has got Team Epic's Ryder Carlson. David Jackson Clary, Midwest Devo out of Indianapolis coming up, bib number 55 here in our third heat. On deck, Heat 4, looking for Hugo Eisman, Noah Shumskas to be ready to start, followed by Phillips Claude IV and Dalton Copeland in Heat 5. Ryder Carlson, that was number 58 from Team Epic on the home straight there. And number 55 is coming around the corner now. Right out of Indianapolis, David Jackson Clary, number 55. So far, Clary, number 55, on pace to take over the top of this thing. He's got a good early start. On pace to be about 2 seconds faster than the fast time so far today. Carlson for Team Epic still also within striking distance. He's about 4 seconds back on the fastest time so far. Both riders in this heat looking pretty good so far in this ride. A couple more laps to go here. In fact, we're seeing 5 to go at their last passing at the timing tape. Still good pace here from Clary, who sits, again, about 2 seconds ahead of pace right now to take over position 1 here. Just our third heat of 6. Plenty more athletes to go. He's going to need every second he can get out here right now. Carlson has fallen back a little bit off of the tempo he was on in the early laps, but still looking pretty good here. About 9 seconds slower than our fastest laps yet. Another improvement by Clary on that last lap as he improves it by almost 3 seconds now over the fastest time so far. So maybe accelerating here on the finishing laps as he's getting motivated by the catch. He starts to see the back wheel of Carlson. That might be a little bit of incentive to start moving up a bit more and gain even some more time. That was the bell for Clary, number 55, who will make the catch in turn 1.
So while in that sort of scenario they do have to go out and around, which is a longer lap, which seems unfair, they do have a slipstream advantage, which does sort of speed them up as they're closing in on that other rider. So it is actually a net gain commonly in the pursuit for an overtake.
Whether it's the combination of that slipstream or, again, just that motivation to catch, a really good couple of last laps. Calling number 52, Claude. Philip Claude missing for check-in here. Number 52, Claude. Phillips Claude looking for you for check-in, please. Great time for Clary. It's going to be our new fast time today by several seconds. 3:45.818. 3:45.818. The final time for Ryder Carlson is a 4:06.254.
That fast time, just 4 seconds off our track record, in fact.
Good showing today for Clary. Looked very good, and it's always impressive on these long races. For me, looking as a spectator, and it's always so impressed by all the things I see. I love watching an individual pursuit speed up at the end. I mean, that's well practiced. Very impressive.
A negative split is difficult, and I agree. It's uncommon, but it's great to see.
Another set of good starts here. On the home straight, that was number 51, Hugo Eisman, racing for Star Trek Racing. Hometown Brooklyn, New York. Noah Shumskas, Verge Racing out of Pipersville, Pennsylvania. Speedster here on the home straight, looking very quick on an opening lap.
Might be a tailwind on the home straight, not sure. Speedy.
Final call for number 52, Phillips Claude. Home straight for your start. Heat 5, Phillips Claude. Coming up immediately after, Cassius Adamski and Gavin Newman, Heat 6. Shumskas, just for the record so far, on pace to be challenging for her fastest time today. Just a half second back right now is the rider in black, number 66.
You can tell they're putting out a serious effort. Their body's starting to rock a bit. That could be the fatigue setting in, but still putting down some really fast lap times.
Gonna be passing Hugo here on the back straight and taking over the front, seeing what he can do here to continue to chase down our speedster so far. David Jackson Clary, number 55. The time we're looking to beat is a 3:45.818 right now. And again, Shumska's looking like he's right on pace. The rider currently in second fastest time. If you were to keep on pace right now, Shumska's number 66 will finish on the home straight in 2 laps. Still very close. If he can find some acceleration in the last 2 laps, he might be able to come in on the top of this one. Now about a half second back at the last split. Getting the bell here shortly. 1 to go for Shumska's on the home straight. We'll see him back here in 1 lap and see if he can catch up on to Clary. Is about a second back now, so losing a little bit of time in this last lap. Bell ring on the back straight for Hugo Eisman. Time coming in for Shumskas. As anticipated, he will slot into second overall so far. Your racer prefers racing with a time of 3:48.561. Nearing the end of session 1 here for the 2024 USA Cycling Junior Track National Championships. We're going to be wrapping up these pursuits and find out who our podium riders will be here out of this group. We'll do those podiums, and that'll be sort of the conclusion here of this first session. We'll go for recess for a bit. There'll be open track time starting, I believe I remember the schedule right, around 4:30 p.m. Racing to begin again at 6 for session number 2 tonight. This is Heat 5. We got 1 rider starting on the back straight for the heat. It's Dalton Copeland, the Greater Houston Cycling Foundation.
Up and away is Dalton Copeland out of GHCF PB Schottenkirk Kia.
Some of the good opening laps here on this last split. Looking to be just above a half second off of the fastest time today. So on pace for being in third at current speed.
That's a medal.
That it is.
There are stains on your photo, little cracks on your rusty frame, stuck in the mud, oh, but it's okay. I don't have the pieces of your home.
Now sitting about 6 seconds back from the fastest time, more on pace for what would be about fourth overall. Going to be seeing 2 to go here, finishing on the home straight in 2 more laps. Getting the bell, number 65 in their final lap in the pursuit. Your 6th and final heat. Ready to start next. Cassius Adamski and Gavin Newman. Final time, 4:3218, a 4:03.218 for Copeland. Currently 5th in the standings. Got 1 foot up on the podium for sure. Top 3 where the medals sit, of course, right now is the fastest time, David Jackson Clary of 3:45.818. Still the time to beat today. We'll see Mad Track Cycling rider number 67, Cassius Adamski, lining up on the home straight, up against East Portland Youth Cycling Team rider Gavin Newman, number 56. Starting on the back straight, our final heat in the 3 kilometer for our junior 15-16 men.
Gavin, so far this year, has had some pretty epic performances at our track. I would expect nothing less today. In fact, I'd expect more. I want more epicness.
I'm sure that's what coach is saying on the infield too. Racing underway for our two competitors in this final heat. That was Cassius Adamski getting the start here on this home straight. And here comes your more local competitor, our West Coaster, Gavin Newman, for Team Epic.
Both riders on track now have a very still upper body and a very visually aerodynamic position. Once again, my CDA calls are unofficial.
Slight advantage to our rider that's currently in the back straight there after that split. As Adamski is about a half second off fastest time right now. Newman about 2.2 off. Both riders right now have the potential to be hunting a medal here with their current speed. The challenge, of course, on this long distance is holding the speed throughout all 7 laps. Adamski actually improving there. He takes over at the top. Theoretically, in these last couple splits, he's improving. Now at a second and a little bit faster than that even over the first place time. So we might be seeing a really good one here out of Adamski. If he can keep on this tempo, he might be taking over the top of this competition, our rider from Detroit.
I do feel the wind picking up just a touch. Could play a factor later in the race as the fatigue starts to set in. The backstretch in particular, known for its headwind. See how it plays out.
Mike Ritter's expecting Gavin just to keep attacking in this pursuit. How do you attack in a pursuit? Just suddenly go faster, I guess. We watched Gavin Newman race a lot of Mass Start racing out here. Recent Cat 1-2 upgrader, local competitor out of Portland. Not quite on pace with his competition yet, who's again on pace to potentially take over the top here. Now 6 seconds faster is Adamski.
We may see a record fall then. I believe Merrick Gallagher's track record for the 15-16s was 3:41, was it?
Yeah, which is 4 seconds faster than our current fastest time today. So we stand to reason if this is 6 seconds faster than that time, we might be seeing our junior record taken over here.
I'm so glad you're good at math.
Good enough. Now an 8-second split improvement over the current fastest time. Adamski is on a tear right now. Newman still on pace to be second overall today. This is a fast heat. Looks like he's standing still compared to how fast Adamski is going on these last couple laps, but Newman also, again, cannot be forgotten here. He's putting in a really good effort himself. Already getting the bell on the back straight for Adamski. We'll hear Newman's bell ringing soon as well. This could be a very big record here for our 3K, potentially getting taken over here. Newman just got the bell. Adamski a half lap away from taking a record at our track for this age group. He has a very smooth effort here and a little bit of a slower start. Didn't look impressive in the first 2 laps compared to the previous time, but then just ramped it up every single lap since. And really, a big congratulations, our rider from Mad Trek, absolutely crushing this one. We'll get the time in just a second as we'll also find Newman with a great race here. He's still chasing a medal right now, potentially a bronze for a rider from Team Epic. An impressive 3:36.191 for Adamski. 5 seconds faster than any time we've seen from this age group at our track before. Putting out a great result here today, our rider from the Lexus Velodrome. East Portland youth cycling rider Gavin Newman finds himself just behind the previous leader. That'll be good for bronze.
You know, Cash's time there, track record by 4 or 5 seconds, but only 1 second off our 17-18 record set by Merrick 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Merrick on notice.
We'll take just a moment to get set for what will be our medal ceremony for what will just be our pursuits. The pursuit finals will get their medal ceremony shortly. Another congratulations as folks are giving some applause there to Adamski for breaking a record and winning in today's pursuit. A great ride from him. And Newman should feel good about coming in a 3rd place in what was a very fast group. And I didn't get to announce the time as it flashed away from me pretty quickly. It was a final time for Newman of 3:46.96. So a question on the live stream was, what's Merrick's record for 17-18 in this event? He has a 3:35 in our record book, so just a second faster than Adamski, but that's the 17-18 record. Merrick formerly held the record in this group. That was just beat by Adamski by nearly 5 seconds, really exactly 5 seconds almost, down to the 10th of a second there. So an impressive showing there today. We are going to transition to our medal ceremony for the pursuits in a matter of minutes. We'll keep the live stream up. If you're here enjoying the show, you can stick with us. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, the subscribe button, share with friends and family. If you've been enjoying the show, leave a little positivity there in the live chat before we shut things down. Celebrate one of your favorite moments today. We've got more great racing coming, of course. After we do the medal ceremony, we'll say our temporary goodbyes as we'll take a little bit of time away. We'll shut down the live stream and the music and the event up here. We'll take break until racing starts up again tonight at 6 p.m. for session number 2. The great racing will continue then. Just a few minutes away, we'll do our medal ceremony for the pursuits for our 15-16 women and men. Two-minute warning for medal ceremony. We'll be doing that on the outside of the track, on the entrance closest to the big parking lot. We have podium over here. Again, on the side of the track you'd enter on, not on the infield. Exit the track in the direction of the big parking lot. We'll begin in under 2 minutes. top 5 coming up to the podium for our 15 through 16 women in the pursuit final. Now calling top 5. Today in 5th with the bronze medal for the Jerry Baker Juniors, Luna Mendoza. In 4th place with the bronze medal for the Jerry Baker Juniors, Renna Fuller. In 3rd place, also with the bronze medal for the GACF presented by Shuttlecock Kia Race Team, Tegan Morgan. In 2nd place for the Jerry Baker Juniors Racing Team, with a silver medal, Lucy Dorer. And finally, for the 2024 Devo Race Team, your champion in 1st place, the gold medal, Emma Jimenez Palos. Congratulations, our 2024 junior track champs here in the 15-16 junior women pursuits. And now your top 5 for the 15-16 junior men pursuit final. With the bronze in 5th place for the GACF, presented by Shuttlecock Kia Race Team, Seth Holland. In 4th place with the bronze medal for Verge Racing Team, Noah Shumskus. In 3rd with the bronze medal for Team East Portland Youth Cycling Team, Gavin Newman. In 2nd place for the silver medal from Midwest Devo, David Jackson Clary. And your champion today in the gold medal, 1st place for Mad Track Cycling Team, Cassius Adamski. And presenting your 2024 15-16 Junior Men Pursuit Champions. It's been a joy to be with you here in this first session. We are now going to be going into recess, racing to begin again at 6 o'clock tonight. Open track around 4:30 for our athletes. The big show, a beverage garden, food truck, and great racing in store for everybody tonight here at Junior Track Nats. Coming back here at the Velodrome, 6 o'clock, session 2. We'll see you then.